Hello, all you hardcore boxing fans out there. How's it going? It's not Russell, but again, you already know that. It's Porky's Corner's very own Kojak. Going to do a quick video today on Denzel Bentley, on his performance at the weekend. He unsuccessfully challenged for the WBO World Middleweight title. It hasn't been really covered by the boxing press or boxing YouTube channels, and I think it deserves a bit of press and a bit of coverage, because it was a fantastic performance from him, a really, really valiant performance. It doesn't get much harder. He fought unbeaten champion in Zanabak. He's unbeaten. He's 12-0. He's a southpaw from Kazakhstan in Las Vegas, and he was a massive favourite getting into that as champion. You've seen his last performance against Danny Dignam. There looked a gulf in class between Denzel Bentley and Zanabak. And it was a massive gamble. It was a massive gamble from Frank Warren and his manager, Martin Bowers, in getting him that opportunity. And it was a gamble that was worthwhile because, 2 years ago he lost to Felix Cash, and now he's in a position to challenge for a world middleweight title. And it was obviously worthwhile now because hopefully now there didn't look to be a gulf in class between them, as expected, and he's came away from it with a really good loss. And there's a lot of British fighters have unsuccessfully challenged for the WBO World Middleweight title over the years. You've Ryan Rhodes, you've Gary Lockett, Liam Williams, Jason Matthews, tragically Michael Watson, and Gary Stretch. And probably one of the best losing efforts from a British fighter for a world middleweight title was Hart Eastman, when he fought Bernard Hopkins for the 4 belts, undisputed, and he really pushed Hopkins to the wire in that fight. I think Eastman was a real underachiever. He was a brilliant fighter. So it's up there with that performance, in my opinion. It was a really good effort, and just goes to show you that if you lose a fight early on in your career or lose a domestic level fight, it doesn't mean your career's over. It doesn't mean you can't bounce back and rebuild and come back better and get opportunities. If you've got the right management team behind you, the right promoter, the right trainer, the right attitude, you can come back better. And he's proven that. You look at the Felix Cash loss, look where he's went from that. He's got himself in the position, the challenge for a world title. He's won the British title outright. He's had some really good fights. Even before the Felix Cash loss, he had that great performance against Mark Heffron, and that looks so much better now because you look at the level that Mark Heffron has went with Joe Gallagher. You look where Felix Cash's career has went from that win against Denzel Bentley. So there's two contrasting careers there, and it just goes to show you that there's nothing wrong with fighting at domestic level and building your foundation and fighting at British level. And a lot of fighters are going bypassing British level. You look at like Conor Benn, who completely bypassed British level and went down that international route and got a world ranking off never even fighting for a domestic title. You look at the likes of Jordan Gill recently, who got destroyed by Kiko Martinez, who fought at that international level for too long. Yes, he was a Commonwealth champion and European champion, but there wasn't those consistent fights at domestic and European level. So this loss actually gives the British title, in my opinion, a lot of credibility. I think a lot of fighters now need to be building that foundation in British, moving up to Commonwealth and European level. Then after that, you go South American kind of level. Fighting at those different styles will only enhance you as a fighter. And I think, as I say, fighting at domestic level, there's nothing wrong with it. And I think it's something that a lot of prospects and fighters should be doing more often, who have aspirations of challenging for a major title. So where does he go from here? The aftermath of this loss. So domestic level middleweight is looking really good at the minute. there's that fight between Zach Parker and John Ryder up at super middleweight. He could step up a weight and fight the winner of that fight. That would be a really good fight. That would be a really good arena fight. And he's fought at middleweight for a long time now, and he could step up. He looks like he's got the frame to step up. The super middleweight, there's an opportunity now with hopefully the Beefy Smith and Chris Eubank Jr. fight. He could fight the winner of that fight, or there could be another big domestic fight against Mark Heffron, which would be a really good TV fight, and I think would sell out an arena, because both of those guys have went on to a completely different level. So there's opportunities there, and it's good to see that you look at even the Zach Parker and John Ryder fight. There's two different promotional outfits working together, which is good. And again, you look at the Beefy Smith and Eubank Jr. fight. Those two completely different from different camps. You've got Denzel Bentley's Queensbury, and you've got Beefy Smith and Eubank Jr. with Boxer and Sky, and they worked together recently on Joe Joyce and Joseph Parker. So there's an avenue there where they've worked together. There's no reason why any of those fights can be made. So hopefully he gets an opportunity. That it would be really good for that middleweight division. The middleweight division in UK hasn't been great for a few years, and it's good now to see that domestic fights are actually happening. The likes of Zach Parker and John Ryder's a brilliant domestic fight. It's what boxing needs in the UK. We need more good domestic fights. It's hard to get really big fights at world level. What's wrong with fighting at domestic level? A lot of fighters now are bypassing big domestic fights to go in and challenge for a world title, and without even fighting at domestic level. So there's big opportunities there for him. I think it was a brilliant performance. I think Frank Warren, as I said before, deserves a bit of credit for getting him that opportunity and sticking with him after the Felix Cash loss. And I think Martin Bowers that deserves a bit of credit, even though he won't want it. And it was a really good performance. I think you look at that performance and it mirrored Bivol against Craig Richards, and I'm not criticising the tactics from that fight or Zanabak and Bentley. But you look at Richards in that fight, he started a bit slower and worked his way into the fight. And when he looks back on it, he will say, flip, if I would have started a bit earlier, he could have came away from a decision. And look how good that loss is now on paper with the level that Bivol has went to. And you look at Zanabak and Bentley, he started that wee bit slower in the fight and finished really strong. He was landing a lot of backhands. Round 6 was an excellent round for him. And he didn't look like there was a golfing class before, that we spoke about, and people maybe, expected to be that golfing class, but it wasn't. And he'll probably look at that fight and say, maybe should have started that wee bit quicker, but you couldn't have had any other tactics. He was fighting away from home in Las Vegas against an unbeaten southpaw who look at his record, everybody in his record had a winning record. So it was a really good performance, and I would really like to see him get a big opportunity against, as I say, the winner of Beefy Smith, Eubank Jr., Zach Parker, John Ryder up at middleweight, or another fight against Mark Heffron. So that's it today. I'm going to do possibly another video this week. I'm going to do a video on Fraser Clark, and I'm going to review the Boxer show at the weekend. So hopefully you've enjoyed that video. Quick video for us, just giving Denzel Bentley a bit of credit in his performance. And I hope you've enjoyed it. Keep on trucking, keep on supporting boxing, and don't have nightmares. Peace out.